Okay, I'd like to welcome each of you here today for this EPA session. As you see the agenda, you get an agenda, Jim. I'd like to welcome each of you here. For some of you, you might have been here before, and for some of you, it's going to be your first time. But either way, during this next 2 Wednesdays, we're going to start it at 4 o'clock like we're doing today. We're just a couple minutes late. Got a couple more guys. We're going to go and get started though. We'll go 4 to 6. We'll take a little break. As you see on the agenda, we'll take a little break somewhere around 5 o'clock. Usually about a 10-minute break. Go ahead and get it going. We'll have a series of videos, a series of questions we're going to go over. We've got several handouts to give you. During this period of time, if any of you want to come in at any time during the day or the evening class, Mr. Rudd will work with you in the night class, and I will work with you in the day class. If you want to come in, look at some of these videos. We're going to record these sessions. There's a couple of folks that can't be here. We're trying to record the sessions for the folks that can't be here. But if you want to come back, or if you want to take a day off of work and come in, this is very important to you and very important to us. We're going to try to give you everything we can give you during these next 2 sessions. And if you come out during the daytime, hit these videos and ask questions. Some of the guys have already been studying I know all day long. I know I had a group of guys here today that's all they have done is studied for 6 solid hours a day and yesterday, getting ready for it. We're going to work with you to try to get you in here and pass this exam. We're going to try to go over as many questions we can go over. We're going to make sure you got a good, thorough understanding. Most of you in this room today are in the field of work, or either you're coming to school, so you should have a basic understanding of the refrigeration cycle. If you don't, if you lost, you need to come tell us. I wouldn't raise my hand and say I'm lost, Mr. Livingston or Mr. Rose, but at the class level, say you got anything to help me get over the hump, to tell me how the refrigeration cycle works. Anything you need during this session, please come let us know. If we can give you anything extra, we want you to pass it. We're going to do everything in our power to get you through this session today. Robert, you got anything you want to go ahead and say?
Well, don't know what all you had covered before I came in there. I was a few minutes late getting here. We'll just wait and give them a quick overview if you want to of the next thing.
Let's go ahead and get started. Let's go ahead and give you your handouts. Is everybody signed in? Everybody signed in? Okay. All right, if you already got one of these that we've given you.
Oh, yeah, man. All right. Got one, James? How about you?
We've got a video that we normally show at the beginning of the class for about the first half of the session. I think most of you have already seen that video, haven't you? About the ACA design. Let's go ahead and get it kicked off with the meat of the program, and then we hit the video a little later on in the program. We started off. Robert, you want to kick it off? You want me to go and kick it off?
Go ahead and let's get this stuff together first.
We kick it off with the core first. Everybody turn to page 1 on core. All right, these are test questions that you will be asked during the test. And if any of you have already taken the test, you already know that these questions are on the test. Depletion of ozone in the stratosphere causes crop loss, increase in eye disease, skin cancer, reduced marine life, deforestation, increased ground level ozone. That's going to be a test question now. You will be tested. That's one of the questions. You can mark it in your book. You're going to see that question probably 4 or 5 times. paragraph underneath that last sentence. Due to the lifespan of chlorine in the stratosphere, one chlorine atom can destroy approximately 100,000 ozone molecules. Are you going to see that question? You can go ahead and mark it. I've got a Q by it, I think, on the instructor copy. That's going to be a question. One chlorine atom can destroy 100,000 ozone molecules. Page 2. The three primary types of refrigerants are CFC, which consists of chlorine, fluorine, and carbon. That will be a test question. If you look, every question on this test is going to be dealing with depletion of the ozone and the dangers of leaking refrigerants. So you're going to be seeing every one of these questions that I'm calling out to you is dealing with loss of refrigerant. You don't want this refrigerant, you want to contain the refrigerant. You don't want it to go up in the atmosphere. So every test question basically is going to be centered on freon leaving the system going in the atmosphere. It's going to be centered on leaks. If you open the system, what have you got to do to contain the freon? You've got to recover it. If you've got too much of a leak, what are you going to need to do? How much is too much of a leak? All this is what we're going to be covering. And every question that you're going to see on the test will have something to do with the freon leaking out. So keep that in mind as well. Keep that in mind. Yes, sir.
I don't have that book. I got a practice test.
You need a book? All right.
Robert gets one right there. Ron, I got an extra right here.
I was going to say, I believe we got an extra one.
Speak up if you don't have anything that we handed out to you, because you might have got the wrong one. Okay, you got that. That's okay. We're going to give you that one a little later on in the program. But you're in good shape. Okay. HCFC consists of hydrogen, chlorine, fluorine, and carbon. HFC is hydrogen, fluorine, and carbon. All right, CFC examples underneath that are R11, R12, and R500. You can't hardly buy either one of those three anymore. You can't buy it anymore. If you buy it, you're going to pay out of your pocket. Somebody told me today that Freon 12 was $35 a pound. Someone there about it. Anybody bought any lately? $35 a pound.
Got Dave Horns in yesterday. He said he was going to buy some at the automotive. It was 34 something for a 12-ounce can. Not a pound, but a 12-ounce can.
34 something for 12-ounce can. So they still sell it, but you'll pay out of your nose for it. So you can't get it anymore. So that's the reason why we're having these classes, let you know, to inform you, to teach to you that certain freons are non-existent anymore, or going to be non-existent. And most of you already heard 22 is going to be non-existent in just a few years. 22. The same freon that we've been putting in every day in these units is going to be gone before long. 410 is going to be the freon of the future. If you saw the latest trade magazine and saw what Canada's about to do, Canada's trying to go and get it pushed to where it's going to be, they're trying to bring it down to zero in just 2 or 3 years. No, if you can't even sell it in Canada. That's what they're trying to get past now. And so naturally, the Montreal Protocol is where it all began. If Canada adopts this particular rule, it's going to filter right down to the United States before long. If that happens, then every one of you guys, if you're selling, servicing 22 units now, you can forget it, because it's going to shoot up just like Freon 12 did in price. It won't make it anymore. So it's coming, I guarantee you. 22 now probably costs somewhere between $50 and $60, 30 pound drum, somewhere thereabouts. I had to buy some for the school here just a while back. And won't be long before it's going to be $100. $100, 30 pound drum, then $200 drum, then $300. That's the way it's coming. I said the same thing back in 1990 to my class, and then nobody believed it. So I'm saying the same thing here in 2001. And I guarantee you, come 2010, that's where it's going to be. So tighten up and learn all you learn about it, because it's coming. Okay, HCFCs are R22 and R123. That's examples of HCFCs. R-134 would be an HFC. HFC containing no ozone-destroying materials, and HCFC containing some ozone-destroying materials. CFC contain a lot of ozone-type destroyers that destroys ozone layer. Okay, ODP, you're going to see ODP, ozone depletion potential. ODP is a scale used to determine the ability of CFCs and HCFCs to destroy ozone. CFCs have the highest ozone depletion potential. Now, our test question is going to be something like, which has the highest ozone depletion potential? HFC, HCFC, CFC, or none of the above? So you got to know. CFC has the most. So that's what the question's going to look like, something like that. HFCs 134A do not contain chlorine and have no ozone depletion potential. 134A is the R12 replacement. The seminar we're having coming up May 15th at 6 o'clock Tuesday night, it's going to be an automotive seminar, but it's still related to the field. If anybody wants to come to it, it's going to be primarily about 134A. None of your GM dealers or your Ford dealers recognize any of your alternative refrigerants like 414B or 416A, Hot Shot. They don't recognize it. This seminar is going to be strictly about 134A, and it's going to be held over in the Business and Industry Building. And if any of you want to come, you're welcome to come. We're going to start at the basics and go right on through the whole 9 yards on automotive retrofit. And it's going to be good knowledge. If any of you want to come, you're welcome to come to it. But 134A is the universal replacement for Freon 12. And they don't recognize Copeland, which is the compressor manufacturer, or Tecumseh. They don't recognize anything but just approved refrigerants. And there's about 10 approved refrigerants. They don't recognize anything else. If you send a compressor back and you put something in it besides what's approved, they're going to void your warranty. They're going to void the warranty. GWP is a global warning potential. GWP is global warning potential. Clean Air Act and Montreal Protocol are following several years of negotiations and international treaty regulating the production and use of CFCs, halons, menthol chloroform, carbon texture, chloride, and various other ozone-depleting substances entered into force in mid-1989. This was known as the Montreal Protocol. This was a landmark agreement initially called for production and consumption freezing. It currently calls for a stepwise reduction and eventual phase-out of ozone-depleting substances and requires EPA to set standards for refrigerant recovery prior to appliance disposal. CFCs will be phased out of production on December 31, 1995. That's going to be a test question. Now these dates are very, very important. You need to memorize these dates. It seems like when everybody takes a test, I asked the student, how'd you come out? I think I got my dates mixed up. Well, we know right now, 3 weeks from now, we're going to have a test. So whatever it takes you to memorize those dates, you go ahead and memorize. You've got to memorize those dates. You've got to memorize those dates. Okay. That date, December 31, 1995, is a very, very, very important date. Any way you can jog your memory and memorize that date, please do it. When virgin supplies are depleted, all future supplies will come from recovered, recycled, and reclaimed CFCs. So pretty much what that means, if you go buy some Freon 12 now, you buy some reclaimed CFC. You buy some reclaimed CFC. Because you can't sell recovered or recycled CFC. You can't sell it. If you go buy it now, it's been reclaimed. I mean, it's been brought up to ARI standards. Now if you're going down the street and you recover some refrigerant out of Ms. Jones' unit, if you recover it out of that unit and then you recycle it, you can put it back in Ms. Jones' unit, you can do that. But you can't go to go to Willie's unit and sell Willie Ms. Jones Freon. That's against the law. That's going to be a test question. You can't resell recycled Freon. The only thing you can resell is reclaimed Freon. I mean, it's brought up to ARI standards and testing. We're going to cover that in detail. That's just to let you know, give you a heads up on it. In order to stop damage to the stratospheric ozone layer, the United States Congress enacted amendments to the Clean Air Act in 1990. The amendments mandated the capturing and eventual phase-out of CFC and HCFC production. All right, this next section right here now is going to definitely be a test question. Now, you need to memorize every one of those. Is a violation of Section 608.2, knowingly release CFCs or HCFCs while repairing appliances. Fail to reach required evacuation rate before opening or disposing of appliances. Fail to have an EPA-approved recovery device equipped with low-loss fittings. Falsify or fail to keep required records. Robert, if you would, hand out everybody out that handout about when they find those companies. Okay. It's a single handout. Here's the records we keep here at our school. If you got a service truck, you need to have the records on your service truck. You need to have where the EPA comes and checks you out, and they know how much Freon you've been using. You've got a copy. You know where it's at. You know how much you bought. They can ask you, well, who is your supplier of Freon? If you say C.C. Dixon Company, is where I primarily get my Freon, and they got the authority to call C.C. Dixon Company, find how much Freon your company has bought or you have bought, and they want to have it accountable for it. If you bought 20 drums last month, they want to see 20 drums in stock or know where those 20 drums are located, or whether you put them in the unit at. How many pounds you put in those units to account for those 30 pounds per drum or 50 pounds per drum. You got to keep a record of it. And they got computer programs now where you can do it very easily. When you put it in, just go in and get your computer out, pop it in. Most of you probably got them on your truck, and you can tell exactly. You can record where your Freon's at. This is critical now, guys. This is very critical. But if you ever get caught, somebody's going to pay the price. Somebody's going to pay the price. We keep records here at our school when we I'm usually the one that has to record the book. I'm usually the one that's at fault. I'm usually showing somebody something. We had a valve blow here a while back. So, Mike, I think you was out there when that valve blew. And it blew and it lost about 5-6 pounds of Freon. I was showing the guy how to put one down, the valve just blew out of there. Had my safety glasses on. I was right there on top of the unit. When it came out, I got ready to do my safety glasses. Because I was safe. I acted safely. Then I came in and recorded in the book. It was accidental purge of refrigerant. I put it in the book. Every time you use refrigerant, you're supposed to record it in your book. They're going to check you out. They're going to check you out. Okay. Most of you have seen that place you done passed out. They're going to find you if they catch you. How do you get caught? Most people get caught when somebody turns them in. That's how most people get caught. They get you on video camera. So keep that in mind if you're out there trying to do something on the side and you're not certified, you don't have your recovery equipment, keep that in mind. Or you're working and you don't have a license and you handle refrigerant. They get you for that too. That's why you're here, every one of you here today, taking this class. Okay. Failed to become certified as of November 14th, 1994. That date, you need to remember that date in stone. Engrave it in your mind somewhere, put it in stone. November 15th, 1994. Been CFCs or HCFCs since July 1, 1992. Been HFCs after November 15, 1995. Released mixtures of nitrogen and refrigerant from a fully charged system while testing. In addition, some state and local government regulations may contain rules as strict or as stricter than Section 608. If law Lawrence County wanted to get involved and have a stricter rule, then if you worked in Lawrence County, you would have to convert to Lawrence County rules, just like the state license examiner, just like the state inspector. If state inspectors might not be as hard on folks as Lawrence County or maybe Dodge County, you see what I'm saying? They may adopt an even stricter rule. So you need to check with your local jurisdiction. They're the ones that's going to actually be the ones that's going to be doing the governmental of that particular county. That could happen. Okay, moving on to the next page. The 3 R's. Now all of this is in the core now. So when you take your test, you're going to have 25 questions on core. You got 25 questions on type 1. You got 25 questions on type 2. And 25 questions on type 3. So we cover the core right now. Everything you see, you're going to see that we're talking now is going to come out of the core. But keep in mind that some of the core might filter on into some of the other part of it too. But just because you think you got the core down good or type 1 down good, don't mean you don't need to just forget the rest of it. You got to remember everything in the core. The core is the most valuable part of the whole test. Because you're going to see core in every part of the test. You're going to see core and safety. Core and safety. Okay, the 3 R's. To recover is to remove used refrigerant and capture it in an external container without purifying the refrigerant. That's the recovery. The recycling is to purify used refrigerant by separating the oil from the refrigerant and removing moisture by passing it through one or more filter dryers. For every one of you knows, under standard good practice procedures, you change the filter on when you open a system up. You always change the filter dryer when you open the system up. You don't change the discharge gas dryer. They don't make one like that. There's a muffler on that. I've seen people changing out the muffler before. Putting a dryer in there. Well, you just burn it. You're going to discharge the system if you don't watch out. That stuff's going to deteriorate. You change the dryer to liquid lime. Now, if you don't know what the liquid lime is, you get that book out and you read it good between now and next week. And you ask one of us, Mr. Lewis, Mr. Rhodes, where's the liquid line at? Where's the liquid line at? You ask us, because you got to know where that liquid line's at. You got to know where it's at. You got to know where the hot gas line's at. Because it's very, very easy to get the liquid line and liquid line dryer and the muffler mixed up. You don't change the muffler, you change out the liquid line dryer with my system up. Or when you're trying to filter that Freon. And you don't filter it through a muffler, you filter it through a dryer, a liquid line dryer. I'll pass around one of each so make sure that you understand the difference. Most any of your units on a heat pump, you're going to have a muffler on the discharge line. You're going to have a muffler coming right off that compressor. So it's just like this. If you look, it's got these little biffles in there where it lets the Freon flow smoothly. On your dryer, you got a core in there. You got some little desk-type beads in there to absorb the moisture. That's what they're talking about. I'm going to pass this around where each other can make sure you got a good understanding about it. Anything that you don't have a good understanding about, we're going to cover this stuff thorough and fast. When this session's over, ask us. I want to know more about that. I want to know more about that. And we'll give as much as we can between now and test day, which is next Wednesday week. To reclaim. To reclaim is to purify used refrigerant to a level equal to new product specifications as determined by a chemical analysis. Reclaimed refrigerant must meet ARI standards before it can be resold. I don't know anybody that sells reclaimed refrigerant that does the testing on its own, unless they're ARI certified. I don't know if anybody that does it. Robbie, you know anybody that does it?
No.
No, anybody that does it. So you can't do that. You can't sell it. Clarence, you can't sell reclaimed refrigerant. Because you can't make it reclaimed because you don't have the equivalent test. Someone like your refrigerant manufacturer, I don't know if they can do that. Recovery devices. Refrigerant recovery and or recycling equivalent manufactured after November 15, 1993 must be certified by an EPA-approved equipment testing organization, such as UL or ETL, to meet ARI standards. There are two basic types of recovery devices. One type of recovery device is referred to as a system dependent or passive and relies on the compressor within the refrigeration appliance to recover the refrigerant. System dependent recovery devices may only be used on appliances containing 15 pounds of refrigerant or less. Even though this system is not used very many times. Robbie, you ever seen this system used very many times?
No.
It's still going to be a test. You're going to see 2 or 3 questions about this right here. So you need to understand the difference in both. And the key is 15 pounds of refrigerant or less. That's the key. And you got operating compressor. That's the key. The other type of equipment is referred to as self-contained. It has its own means of drawing refrigerant out of the appliance. Self-contained recovery devices can be used on any size appliance. Active recovery devices are capable of removing refrigerant from appliances whether or not the compressor is operating. This means that if you got a Robin Air and you got Provax, and you've got a self-contained active recovery piece of equipment. I'm moving on down to the next one. Recovery techniques. Regardless of the type of recovery equipment being used, with the bottom of page 3, there are a few things you need to remember about proper methods of refrigerant recovery. Before beginning a recovery procedure, check the nameplate to see what type of refrigerant is in the system. It is important not to mix refrigerants in a recovery tank. Each recovery cylinder must be designated for a specific refrigerant type. Many times, this is why you don't mix and match. If you're an air conditioning man, you're a good air conditioning man, you don't mix and match refrigerants because you don't walk around with half a dozen drums. If you're a refrigeration man, you got to have a drum for every refrigerant you got. If you're an air conditioning man, you got to have a refrigerant. Most of them are 22 right now. But if you're a refrigeration man, you got to have about 10 different kinds of refrigerants that I've seen that's very common out there. About 10 different kinds. That's why you don't see a whole bunch of refrigeration men in the field. You see mostly air conditioning folks. I used to be a refrigeration mechanic in the field. I had my own business. This was before this law came out. If I was a refrigeration man now, I'd have 10 different tanks on my truck. And each one will be marked with that particular kind of refrigerant. Because I guarantee you go to any of these walk-in coolers, any of these stores out here, you're going to see all kinds of different kinds of refrigerants. And you cannot mix refrigerants against the law. So that's just good information to take, and you're going to see this on the test. You cannot mix refrigerants. Mixed refrigerants may be impossible to reclaim. What they do is, if you're going to turn in some mixed refrigerant, you could get billed for handling the mixed refrigerant. You could get billed because they've got to destroy them. Everywhere you take them, they got to destroy these refrigerants, and so they could bill you for this. It could be quite a large bill. I don't know of anybody that this happened to, because most of what I know conforms to the regulations. But someone who didn't know what they were doing very well might give them some mixed refrigerants. If it was mixed too bad, then you'd get billed for having to recover that refrigerant. They would have to recover it and destroy it. They'd have to incinerate it. I'm moving on to the top of page 4. The recovery machine should be checked for oil level and leaks on a daily basis. When using recovery equipment or cylinders with Schrader valves, inspect the valve course for leaks and always cap the Schrader ports to prevent accidental depression of the valve course. EPA-approved recovery devices must be equipped with low-loss fittings to minimize release of refrigerant when hoses are disconnected. The length of the hoses between the appliances and the recovery machine will affect the efficiency of the recovery process. Long hoses will increase recovery time and increase the potential for accidental release of refrigerants. Recovery time can be reduced by recovering as much refrigerant as possible in the liquid phase. That will be a test question. Now that is going to be a test question. You're going to say that probably 3 or 4 times on this test. Recovery time can be reduced by recovering as much refrigerant as possible in the liquid phase. Liquid recovery will remove the maximum amount of oil and contaminant from the system. Liquid recovery should begin at the lowest point in the system. That's another test question. Why would you want to recover a liquid from the lowest point in the system? That's where it's going to settle. That's exactly right. That's where you're going to get it quick. You can't start at the top and get it very quick. If you start at the bottom where the liquid's going to be at, you're going to get it a lot quicker. Roof-mounted condensers and first floor evaporators begin recovery at evaporator liquid line. That makes sense, doesn't it? That's a test question, too. That's going to be a test question. You better mark that in your book. You got a yellow magic marker, mark it. Roof-mounted condenser and first floor evaporators begin recovery at evaporator liquid line. After recovering liquid refrigerant, any remaining vapor is condensed by the recovery unit. It'll suck it right on out of there. Once you've done it, have used these machines on a regular basis, once you're going to flip it over to the vapor, and it go right on out of there. One guy, it'll suck it right on out. So you know it. You know it's a lot faster, don't you, if you've used it before. And a lot of you already used it. You just suck it right on out of there. And get that liquid first, takes a little while, and once you flip it over to vapor, suck it right on down to a vacuum, 15, 20 vacuum. Then you've done what you're supposed to do. You conform to the EPA law, and you won't leak any refrigerant to the atmosphere. Okay, move down to the next paragraph. After recovery, the refrigerant may be returned to the appliance from which it was removed, or to another appliance owned by the same person. Now that's going to be a test question too. I go back to what I said a while ago. You can't go swap Freon with different customers. You cannot do that. It's against the law. And you can't go and make a deal with Ms. Jones to get Willie's Freon. They said, Ms. Jones, Willie got some Freon here, and I'll sell it to you a little bit cheaper. It's used Freon, and nothing wrong with it. You can't do that. You can't do that. You got to. You can only put that Freon back in Ms. Jones' unit. You can't go sell it to somebody else or even give it to nobody else. Like to come back on your home and cost you a lot of money. But don't ever think you can do it. If the appliance is a MVAC, that stands for Motor Vehicle Air Conditioning, the refrigerant must be recycled or reclaimed before reuse. Recovered refrigerants may contain contaminants such as acids and moisture. Therefore, it is necessary to frequently check and change the oil and filter on a recycling machine. And I guarantee you that's the life of that machine too. That's the life of that machine. To change that oil on it, service it, keep it serviced, take care of it. Whether it's yours or whether it's the company you work for, you take care of that machine. You change that oil in it, right? Check it on a regular basis. I know you guys check these vacuum pumps on a regular basis. Checking oil in it, but you know you can't run out of oil on it. And I appreciate it. Day and night, you guys, you've been taught that and you know to do it. You check them before you go cut them off. Okay, Robbie, you want to take over recovery silver department?
Yeah, we'll do that. All right, we'll just pick right up where Kevin left off, just roll right along. And of course, we're not going to read every bit of it. We're going to go through most of it here. Talk about recovery cylinders. Most of you, all of you here in school have seen them, know what they look like. Disposable cylinders use reverted refrigerant and may never be used for recovery tank. That's like the Freon, the tank that Freon comes in. You can never use that for a recovery tank. Most of them now have valves on, check valves on where you can't put back into them, so that eliminates that part. The older ones they used to use those tanks, they make air tanks, everything out of it. They stopped that. They put the valves in them so that you cannot use those anymore. Empty or near empty disposed cylinders should be disposed of by covering any remaining refrigerant, rendering the cylinder useless, then recycling the metal. Y'all ever noticed on a, like on a tank, the Freon comes in, it's got the little round disc looking thing there, it's indented a little bit. That's where you render it, where it can't be used anymore. You get all the Freon out, you vacuum it out, take a punch, knock a hole in it right there. It knocks out pretty easy. And that's what that spot is in there for. Recovery cylinders are specified, designated by the, to be refilled. Cylinders are usually equipped with 2 ports, one liquid, one vapor. Care must be taken not to overfill or heat the cylinder, as the could result in an explosion. EPA requires that refilled refrigerant cylinders must not be filled above 80% of the capacity. That's where your scales come in good. When you recover, you think you about got it full. If you don't have a limit switch on it or something like that, just set it on the scales. You know what, how many pounds your recovery cylinder should hold. They're just like the other tanks. They're either 30 or 50 pounds, most of them. You get 80% of that. You figure out how much 80% is, and don't put any more than that in. Cold day, you would probably have no problem with it, but you know, most of the time on air conditioning, you're going to be recovering hot weather, 100 degrees. You fill that thing 95% full, set it on the back of your truck, it's 104 degrees outside. It got nowhere for it to go, and eventually it'll find a place. You don't want that though. You don't want that. Because it will leave here. Let's see. EPA requires that refillable refrigerant cylinders must not be filled above 80%. Just remember that before an empty cylinder is put into service. Technician should. They're talking about new tanks there. You don't know exactly what's in that new tank, and if you're recovering some refrigerant out of a unit and you're going to turn right around and put it back in that unit when you fix it or whatever needs to be done to it, go ahead and vacuum out. You might have some non-condensables in your new tank. Might be a little moisture in it or something like that. If you do, you're going to contaminate your refrigerant. So go ahead and vacuum it out real good, then recover it into it, and then you got good clean refrigerant to use with it. I don't know if don't remember him ever saying that a while ago about changing ownership on the refrigerator.
Yeah.
Now, as long as, you know, they can't do that, but he was talking about Miss Jones, you know, trying to get it. Now, Miss Jones owns an apartment complex, and she's got 60 units out there. She can use, you can use that Freon in any of those 60 units.
As long as they
As long as they all belong to the same person. Like you go over to Meadowbrook or somewhere like that, you can take Freon out of any unit there and put it in any other unit there and still be legal. It don't have to be confined to a specific unit. But, you know, residential, most of the time you just don't own one house, so, you know, you can't go, and then, you know, you just can't go and put it in the neighbor's house. That's what, I don't know if he ever brought that out or not, but we need to bring it out. Let's see, let's go over to the next page. Approved cylinders should be color coded, yellow tops and gray bodies. That was the only colors there were in the beginning. I think there's some of them have like a few different colors, but you can always tell a refillable cylinder because it's going to have the 2 valves on top, and they'll be color coded there also. They're going to be just like the gauges. You're going to have a red and a blue. Cylinder supposed to be abstract tested and date stamped every 5 years. If the cylinder show sign of rust or ants, then it should be taken out, not be used anymore. On all those recovery cylinders, if you look on the top part of the band there that protects the valves, there's a date stamped in there. And then after 5 years after that date, and it should be inspected again, and they'll stamp another date in there if you want to keep on using that recovery cylinder. Let's see, shipping and transportation. Before shipping any used refrigerant, check with the similar DOT standards, complete shipping, paperwork including number of cylinders, all this kind of stuff. And another thing to remember here, it'll be a test question. It'll ask who has the final say-so on shipping refrigerant, and ask if it's the EPA, the DOT, or anybody like that. But in a case like that, the DOT has the final say. They have say-so over EPA, what goes over the highways. They regulate everything else, but they don't regulate what goes over the highways. The DOT will tell you what's legal and what's not legal to go over the highways. So remember that one. In these books here, just about any sentence here where they make a statement, you turn around and put it in the form of a question, it's just about going to be that way on the test. You know, this is a much more condensed book than we used to have. It used to be real thick that you had to study through. They condensed it down and just made general statements, and if you turn that around, put it in the form of a question, you'll just about find it on that test someplace, because they're going to have to come up with 25 questions out of each one here. Out of this core, 25 out of 1, 25 out of 2, and 25 out of 3. And you get, see, I think at 18, you have to get right on each section of pass. I think 18 gets you right. And once you've ever passed any section, you don't ever have to go back and take that section again. You take it past core and section 1, then you're approved for core and small appliances. Then you don't ever. Then the next time we have a class, if you want to come back then and take the others, then when it comes test time, all you have to do is take section 2 and 3. You can concentrate your efforts on just those two. Let's see, we covered the shipping there. That's about the DOT classification tags, indicating 2.2 non-flammable gas. Dehydration, all the students would know what dehydration is. I mean, cleaning it up, getting moisture out. Proper dehydration procedures through evacuation are important to follow. When moisture is allowed to remain in the system containing CFCs or HCFCs, the refrigerant will become decomposed and result in that formation of hydrochloric and hydrofluoric acids. And that's definitely a question. You need to remember those two. What happens, that's really what destroys your equipment. It ain't that little bit of moisture in there and say, well, how will a few drops of moisture in one, do that? Well, it don't, as long as it's in there. But then when it changes into the acids, then that's when it starts eating away at it, and it will destroy it. And most of the time, it won't take too long. Achieve a deep vacuum, and to dehydrate, remove moisture from the system. It is not possible to over-evacuate a system. Achieving a deep vacuum and monitoring the vacuum level as an excellent method to determine if a leak is present. A lot of people do that on new installations now. They'll, with the gauges, they can they'll put that on there and pull a good deep vacuum. Everything holds fine, down to about 400 microns, and they know right away they don't have a leak. They don't have to go through all the leak testing. They have leak tested right then. They can go ahead and charge the system and be on the way. Let's see. Okay, some of the factors contributing to the speed and efficiency of dehydration via evacuation are temperature, size of the appliance, quantity of moisture, contamination, capacity of the vacuum pump, and the length and diameter of the suction hose. you can speed that up, you know, you can have a shorter, bigger vacuum hose, and you can, speed up your, vacuuming time there. Vacuum line should be as short in length as possible, and as large as the larger in diameter than the vacuum pump inlet. Measuring the cheap vacuum must be performed with the system isolated, and the vacuum gauge should be located as far from the pump, vacuum pump as possible. You know what we're talking about there, get it away from the pump, so you won't be reading the vacuum on the pump itself. Vacuum pump with a high capacity be lower pressure too fast and cause moisture in the system to freeze. Somebody might know what they're talking about there. You go pull it out, then create too much of a pressure drop too fast. Moisture hits a cap tube or something like that. It's going to hit it right there. Then it's going to freeze right at the cap tube. And then you're not going to do any more vacuuming in because it's going to be stopped up. The system is contaminated with a large amount of water, increasing the pressure of nitrogen will prevent freezing. So get the pressure back up, that'll raise the temperature up. Then dehydration is complete when the vacuum gauge shows that you have reached and held the required finished vacuum. I've been told that there's such thing as a perfect vacuum. You get it down as low as you can. No, never energize or make the compressor when under a vacuum. And just like cranking up your car when you don't have oil and water in it, you don't have anything to help cool it, that refrigerant coming back to it, it's helping cool that. And if you don't have that in it, it ain't gonna run long. Relies on slow refrigerant and for cooling, energized compressor put under vacuum can damage the motor windings, most of the time real quickly. We'll hit the leak repair requirements. Of course, anytime you go to one, you might, if it has a leak, naturally you want to fix it, but you're not required by law to fix every leak. And this page right here, or this little section, is going to tell you about, the rate of the leak, how much you can get by with, stuff like that. Although it's a good business practice and important for the environment to repair all leaks, EPA does not require repair of small appliances. And small appliances, we get into that in section 1, and what is defined as a small appliance, and that is any hermetically sealed system containing 5 pounds or less. But we get over that in just a minute. Commercial and industrial process refrigeration appliances containing more than 50 pounds of refrigerant must be repaired when the annual leak rate exceeds 35%. Need to remember that. All these test questions are that and that one. Commercial refrigeration includes the use of retail food. They don't have to be quite as stringent there. Coming on down the next paragraph. Appliances other than commercial refrigeration and industrial process refrigeration, comfort air conditioning, that contain more than 50 pounds of refrigerant must be repaired if the annual leak rate exceeds 15% of the total system capacity. If I was having to pay for a refrigerant going in there, and if you had 35% of 50 pounds, you'd be paying for a lot for Freon there. So I believe I'd want him to fix it rather than come back every few weeks and put some refrigerant. That would get expensive, I think, in a hurry. Let's see, comes down, that's 50 pounds, and then even the 15% of the 50 would be, well in there. Substitute refrigerants and oil. So we're going to talk about the 134A is the ones of y'all that have worked in it for a while here at school or other places down there, I know we use a lot of, different refrigerants. We use Hot Shot, 134A, we got the new 416B, everything, you know, that taking the place or substituting it for R12. Now, we all know that a lot of those work just as good, sometimes better. Most of the time, they don't work as long as the R12 would. But for the purpose of the test, just remember, there are no drop-in refrigerants for R12. Not a big question there. But, you know, we do it all the time before it as a just complete drop-in, but when the book was wrote and all that kind of stuff, and they still don't recommend, I don't think, just drop it right in. Most of them, convert it over, take all of one out and put all the other one in. But there is no drop-in for R12. But the 134A is a leading candidate for the CFC 12 retrofit, but it's not a drop-in substitute. Actually, there are no drop-in substitutes. Just remember that. R130 can be used in most R12 systems. We've proven that. We use it all the time in R12 systems. By following proper retrofit procedures, 134A will not mix with conventional refrigerant oils. The oil used with HFCs are esters. Esters cannot be mixed with other refrigerant oils. It is also important to remember that when leak testing retrofitted R134A system, to use only 134A refrigerant or pressure with nitrogen so as not to cause an accidental refrigerant mix. And when you're leak testing, they say you cannot vent this, can't vent that. It is okay if you have an R12 system or any type of system, as far as that goes. If you want to leak test that system with the leak detectors, they will not pick up nitrogen if you put only nitrogen in a system. So it is permissible to put a trace of R22 and then finish pressurizing with the nitrogen. That way you can get your pressure on it real high, so if it's a small leak, maybe it'll open it on up a little bit better so you can see it. And then when you're finished with that, of course you can't recover nitrogen. It is okay to vent that to the atmosphere. There's no problem with that. And the small amount that you lose like that, or when you're taking your hoses on off fittings, you're going to lose a little bit there, just a little bit. But that's referred to as de minimis, and that is legal also. Let's see. Where did we get to? Several blends. We're going several blends called ternary blends, which means they're a three-part blend. Ternary blends will leak in a system at a different rate because of the different vapor pressures of each component of the blend. That's what you get in. That's the big drawback to them, where say R12 is only made up of one component. It leaks out, you put that component back in it. 134A, a lot of the other blends, they're probably most of them are three-part blends. One leaks, you develop a leak in your system, naturally, the first one to that part of it to leak out first is going to be the one with that low boiling point there. It's going to come out first. And you can get by a lot of times with making, adding to it maybe once or something like that. But then after that, if you lose very much, you don't know what parts of it you got in there, and you don't know how your system acting crazy. Best thing to do is recover what's left in there, fix your leak, and then start it over. Because you'll wind up with if you did it long enough, you'd wind up with about a two-part blend there. And no telling what kind of pressures you have and stuff like that. It'd just be acting crazy. And probably would not cool very good at all either. Let's see. One drawback, another drawback too to the R134A is the oil that's used in 134A. It's referred to as hygroscopic, and that means that it loves moisture. Moisture is attracted to it, it just goes to it. I mean, you leave it open and for an hour or so, and there'll be so much moisture in that oil, you cannot use that oil again. You have to, if you use it, you use what you do and cap it right back up immediately. But you cannot leave it open like you could the other oils or anything. It will drop, it'll just, moisture attracted to it. Always keep containers safely sealed tightly when you use prevent moisture contamination. That's what we're talking about here. Another type of blend, cover that. Azeotropic mixtures do not have a temperature glide, so they perform like a conventional refrigerator. That glide, what we were talking about there, you know, one boiling off and the other one not. Let's see, we'll like that. Okay. I'm going to hit safety a little bit here. You're going to be, portions of this core, like Kevin said, they're going to be in, you're going to find a question, in fact, they're not uncommon for, you might have the same question on your test a couple of times. You might see a very, almost identical question a couple of times. And a lot of it will, sometimes will be on safety. They'll talk about safety in core, they'll talk about safety in type 1, they'll talk about safety in type 2 and type 3. They're going to talk about safety all along, and they'll drop a question in. Like I say, they might drop the very same question in on it, so, you know, look out for that. And large quantity of refrigerant can cause suffocation because they're several times heavier than air and displace oxygen. Of course, the number of cause of death refrigerant-related accident is asphyxiated oxygen deprivation. That's a definite question there. It's like when you work in equipment rooms, say like at a big grocery store or something like that, they're going to have their equipment, you know, mostly down low, you know, maybe one level below ground level or something like that. And you get in there and close your doors up and stuff like that, and that stuff leaks out. I mean, it's all around you there, and you won't even know it. And first thing you know, they'll be looking for you. And nobody will know where you are until it's too late. But a lot of those equipment rooms, they have to put those oxygen deprivation devices in the rooms and everything, so all oxygen gets away. They'll, you know, send an alarm and let you know that you're getting in danger. Let's see. We're talking about pressurizing the system here. For pressurizing the system with nitrogen, always charged through a pressure regulator, you know, something like the one we got right here. And the reason for that, you know, they have the relief valve on them downstream from the pressure regulator. Relief valve must be installed in series. If corrosion is found on the body of a relief valve, it must be replaced. To determine the safe pressure for leak testing, check with the data plate on the piece of equipment for the low side pressure valve. Refrigerant systems must be protected by a pressure relief valve. Most of them have that. ASHRAE standard 15, remember the number there. All equipment rooms containing equipment utilizing an A1 refrigerant are 11, 12, 134A, be fitted with an oxygen deprivation sensor and alarm. Equipment rooms with equipment using B1 refrigerant 123 must be fitted with the refrigerant sensor. Never energize the reciprocating compressor if the discharge device valve is closed. Okay. That gets the core, Kevin. You want to don't know if they wanna go straight through, or you wanna stretch your legs a
You
minute.
want to take a five-minute stretch before we keep on? Take a 5-minute stretch, we'll keep on going. Let's take 5 minutes, use the restroom, and then when we get back, we got a practice test. I think everybody's got one, and we're gonna cover the core questions for you now. We're gonna cover about 25 core questions that you could see on the test. We're gonna take 5 minutes, get on back, let's hit it again.
Blood pressure is getting high.
So this right here. Get on out of there, buddy.
We gotta go to the deal with this.
Or some
We're
little,
gonna go ahead and cover some questions. We wanna cover the core questions. Under the last handout we gave you, we're gonna cover the core questions before we hit type 1, that you get a good handle on the core questions. Okay. Yeah, you can write on those, yes sir, write on them and take notes.
Your men come unprepared, don't they? What's wrong with it? There's their
all the
man.
questions be multiple choice.
Okay.
Good.
All multiple choice, you don't have to fill in any blanks.
I know we do that in
Yeah,
class.
you know, you got a pretty good chance if you just.
How can you throw it with an ego when you work?
But the,
gotta pick it right.
yeah, you gotta pick the right one.
These are the most common answers.
The, only thing you'll have to figure out at all is, referring to the, pressure temperature chart. You'll have some of that, about 2 of those most time on each test that, you have to figure out. But other than that, you won't, it'll give you like on the chart here, it'll give you a question and it'll go in between these, and what they are, it'll tell you what it's 73 or something like that, just to make you figure it out. So, okay, y'all ready? Everybody got the test? All right, we'll start with number 1 there. Which refrigerants contain the most chlorine? CFC. All right, that's it. And guess we just bounce around. Number 3 there, which refrigerants have the lowest ozone depletion potential? ODP there, okay. And number 4, the molecule found in CFC and HFC refrigerants that destroys ozone.
Chlorine.
Chlorine, that's the little bad boy. Chlorine, that's right. Okay.
Number 5, stratospheric ozone consists of 3 oxygen atoms. 3 oxygen atoms. All right, number 6, stratospheric ozone depletion is a what kind of a problem? Global problem. Now guys, what you seeing now, you're gonna see on the test. This is the practice test, but this is the type question you're gonna see, and you are gonna see about half of these questions. So please listen closely and study them when you get home tonight. Okay, number 7. The gas in the stratosphere that protects us from ultraviolet radiation is ozone.
That's right.
Ozone. Now, we ain't even mentioned radon. It can't be radon. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Remember that in the test now. If we ain't even talked about it, if you hadn't heard about it, read about it, that can't be the answer. You can eliminate 2 or 3 just like that. Yeah. A couple of those answers just like that.
Radar comes out of the ground, doesn't
That's exactly right. Radon comes out of the ground anyway.
Most of the time, 2 of the answers will be completely irrelevant to the question. I mean, they won't make any sense whatsoever to that question. The next one will be kind of close, and then one will be more right than the other one.
All right, number 8. Which refrigerant is a CFC?
R12.
Or R12 is a CFC. What is R22?
HFC.
Right? What's R123?
Wait a minute. 22 is what?
22 is ACF.
HCF.
Yeah, 8.
ACF.
I thought I heard a HCF.
123 is
Which one of those is a HF, just regular HFC?
134.
Very good. Why is 134A? Why is 134A an HFC?
It don't have no working on it.
Okay.
No more.
No what now?
No chlorine.
No chlorine. Answer, no chlorine. It's ozone protected.
Right.
Okay. And see, guys, just because you see some of these wrong answers and you see know what the other answers mean also, because you may see that again too. So do a little research, do a little reading at home too. Okay, number 11. Which refrigerant contains no chlorine? We just covered it. On next page. The molecule found in the stratosphere that indicates stratospheric ozone depletion is taking place is what?
Chlorine monoxide.
All right. Chlorine monoxide. Number 13. The following actions would violate the Clean Air Act.
All of the above.
All right, remember I tell you all to please remember that? Those 6 or 7 things?
Yeah.
Every one of those, there's 3 of them right there.
Yeah.
And you on down the line, you'll see another one, the other 3.
Always, another thing, be careful on the ones with all the above there. You read that first answer there and it's right and you say, that's it right there.
Yeah.
But then you circle A for that one, then you get that question wrong. You know, even though that part of it was right, all parts of it are right. So read all the answers before you make the judgment.
Very good comment, Robert, because I'm glad you brought that up. That's important.
Yeah.
That's
You
important.
have to remember that.
Y'all know what he's talking about now? Everybody got to handle that? You got to handle that? That's important. Very good. Number 14. One-time disposable refrigerant cylinders are used for. All right. Virgin refrigerant. Number 15. The rule of thumb for refilling approved cylinders is a maximum of what percent liquid?
80%.
All right, 80%. Very good. Number 16. The time it takes to properly evacuate and dehydrate a system prior to charging with refrigerant is determined by what?
All of the above.
All right, all y'all understand that particular answer now. Make sure if you don't, raise your hand. Let's make sure you got a good understanding about it. Or circle it after it's over. Because see, ambient temperature, if it's cold, if it's real cold, that's going to definitely affect it because that liquid's not going to move if it's real cold. If it's real hot, that makes a big difference, see? So ambient temperature makes a big difference. Okay, let's move on here to the next page. Number 17. A system that fails to hold a vacuum after the evacuation process is what?
D.
D.
DNC.
Now let me see that now. You understand, if it doesn't hold a vacuum, that means when you put it in a vacuum, you got a leak somewhere and the refrigerant is just, the air is sucking right on in there. That's what that means. All right, you guys understand that now?
May contain moisture there.
And also may have moisture in it too. It may be full of water. See, if you got a leak in the evaporator part of the system, and it's just sitting there running and sucking moisture in there, that would also delay your time. So very good question.
Yeah, I was gonna bring up too, if you're trying to pull a vacuum and you notice, you're not achieving a good vacuum, good practice, you better switch that thing off and check it and check everything else and see, because if you got a very big hole, you're doing more harm than you are good because you're pulling moisture into your system there.
Exactly right.
And you'll damage it by that, and it's gonna take you longer then to, you're gonna have to turn around then, fix your leak and then try to get all that moisture out of it if you let it run very long. All right.
All right, number 18. Very good, Robert. Thank you. To recover refrigerant is to remove refrigerant in any condition from a system in either an active or passive manner, and store it in an external container without necessary testing or processing. Why wouldn't it be D?
Can't change ownership.
That's exactly right. D's a false statement. Why wouldn't it be C?
Reclaim.
That's right, because C means to reclaim it. Bring it up to product specification. Why wouldn't it be B?
It's recycled.
B's recycled. So see, take a look at these questions we're going to give you now and see why it couldn't be every one of the answers. See why. And understand the why. And make sure you get it down before you take this test.
But just remember now, to recover, all you're doing is just taking it out of that system and putting it in a tank. I mean, you're just straight through, and that's all you do.
Or number 19, the process that reduces contaminants in used refrigerant by oil separation with a single and multiple passes through devices such as replaceable filter core dryers, which reduce moisture, acidity, and particulate matter is what? Recycle. All of you understand that now. Number 20, the synthetic lubricant used with HCFC base ternary blends is what? Alkylbenzene. Alkylbenzene. What does ternary mean? What does ternary? We covered it with the last thing. Three-part blend, right. Three-part blend, guys. Okay, number 21. R134A is a drop-in refrigerant for D. 134A is not a drop-in refrigerant. What? Why is a 134A a drop-in refrigerant, guys?
There's no drop in refrigerant, so none of it.
And that's exactly right. There is no drop-in refrigerant. What have you got to do before you use 134A if you got 12?
You got to battery it down.
What else?
Change the oil.
Retrofit it, which means changing the oil. Very good, very good. Okay. Many times you got to change your oil.
The oil is the main thing there because the refrigerant's not going to mix with the oil, and it's not going to be compatible with it, and it's just not going to work good then. It might cool good for a while. I know the Copeland guys said they had them, in the labs, they just set systems up and run them, just on and on and on. They run good, they work just as well, cool just as good, sometimes better, but they all have one thing in common. They always fail. They always fail. And that's what you don't want.
Okay, number 22. The refrigerant condition and state entering the condenser of an air conditioner is what? All right, does everybody understand that one now? You got to understand this. Does everybody understand that? The refrigerant condition and state entering the condenser of an air conditioner. You've got to understand the refrigeration cycle to take this test. If you don't understand the refrigeration cycle, and when this session's over, come up to Mr. Rowe and me and say, Mr. Rowe, I don't understand the cycle. And let him give you something that'll help you understand that cycle, because you've got to know that cycle. Cycle is very important.
We have some handouts we can give them with a refrigerant cycle on it if they don't have it already, and it'll show you what it is in each state of the system.
Number 23, the condition and state of the refrigerant leaving a receiver is what? The condition and state of the refrigerant leaving a receiver. Subcooled liquid. That's exactly right. Why? That's exactly right. Why?
So that's what's coming out of the condenser.
It's coming out. What happens in the condenser?
It's back to the
It's condensed.
It's condensed. Back door is again, building, then it goes into the,
Meeting device.
That's exactly right, where it's subcooled. And you got to have subcooled refrigerant for the whole system to work. If you don't have subcooled refrigerant, the system won't work. You got to have subcooled refrigerant. Subcooled means you're ensuring you got liquid going to that metering device. When you got liquid going to your metering device, you know you're flashing like you're supposed to, and your refrigeration's taking place. But if you haven't got liquid going to it, because of a stopped-up condenser or a dirty condenser, then you're not going to have subcooled liquid. Okay, number 24. The component of an air conditioning system that changes a low-pressure vapor to a high-pressure vapor is what?
Compressor.
All right, very good. The compressor. That's pretty much common knowledge. But look here, this is a question you're going to see on the test now. That's why the refrigeration cycle is so important. So important to know that cycle. Okay, number 25. Refrigerant cylinders should be shipped. How? Vertical upright position. And the guys, that was almost a dumb question. 25, you wouldn't ship it upside down, would you? No, heck no you wouldn't. You wouldn't ship it parallel, you wouldn't ship it in crates. See there, some of these questions test your, you look at them and you say, it's so simple that you wonder, so, is it really, could it really be that? But it is, it really is. And that's the way this EPA test is. Some of them are actually hard, some of them are actually very, very easy. Okay, now let's go ahead, Robert, go ahead type 1 in there. And then we'll hit type 1, then we'll come to type 1 question.
Okay. Type 1 certification. Okay, you're gonna have several questions coming out of that very first paragraph there. What is type 1? Technician serving a small appliance must be certified refrigeration recovery if they perform seal system service after November 14th, 1994. There's that same date again, and it'll keep popping up over and over. And right here is what the EPA defines what a small appliance is. EPA condition of a small appliance includes products manufactured, charged, and hermetically sealed in a factory with 5 pounds of refrigerant or less. That's pretty well cut and dried. Does everybody know what they're talking about there? Hermetically sealed, all this kind of stuff. 5 pounds or less. This includes packaged terminal air conditioners with the 5 pound refrigerant. You can go, that includes all your refrigerators, that type of thing, or like they're talking about the PTACs, that's the through the wall type things, or a regular package air conditioner. If it's got 5 pounds or less, then the type 1 certification, you can work on it. And a lot of those do, you know, you get a 2.5, 3 ton, most times it won't have, you know, 4.5 pounds, something like that. With 5 pounds refrigerant or less, persons handling refrigerant during maintenance services or repair of small appliances must be certified as either a type 1 or universal technician. Universal is that you're covered for type 1, 2, and 3. And that's the best one to get. If you're going to, you know, come to the trouble of, you know, getting certified and everything, go ahead and get all of them and be through with it then. Equipment requirements. Equipment manufactured before November 15, 1993 must be capable of removing 80% of refrigerant or achieving a 4-inch vacuum. The question sometimes, I've noticed on the test, they'll take that same date there. They might not say manufactured before November 15th, I might say, what is a requirement after November the 15th? Then that would put it into a whole new category there. So you gotta watch little things like that. And like you said, you know, you can't, dwell on those, dates too much, because you will see them over and over. There's several on there about the dates. And equipment manufactured after November 15th must be capable of removing 90% of the refrigerant if the compressor is operating, 80% if the compressor is not operating or achieving a 4-inch vacuum. It goes in recovery techniques, same thing, we get a little bit repetitive with some of it here. If the appliance compressor is operable, connect the recovery equipment to one access fitting on the high side of the system and run the compressor. That's the, talk about the push-pull method there, so a lot of people use that. If the appliance has a non-operating compressor, connect the recovery equipment to both the low and the high side access ports, then apply heat and tap the compressor to help release the refrigerant from the compressor oil. What happens that refrigerant gets in there and it settles and gets into oil and everything, and you need a little heat there. Of course, you got to be careful with, you know, how you put heat on it too. Some of them they have the little blankets or something like that they put on them to try and warm them. But you want to be extremely careful anytime, you know, with any direct heat or anything like that, you know, like a torch or anything like that around the seal system. Okay, a strong odor is detected during the recovery process. Compressor burnout may have occurred. So that's one thing, it will alert you. If y'all ever smell one that's got the burnt oil in it, it can be pretty rank. If it's real good burnout, there's not going to be much question about it. I mean, time you smell it, you're going to know what it is. It's going to be something on the order of, like used to when people check the transmission to see if they were burned or something like that, you know, they smell the oil on the stick or something like that. But this is just as bad or worse than that is. And they can be, once they get burnt real bad like that, then that whole system is contaminated, they can be pretty rough to clean up. I mean, you have to change dryers, filter dryers 2 or 3 times sometimes to ever get them cleaned up all the way. Although it is not mandatory, refrigerant contaminated from burnout should be recovered into a separate recovery cylinder and sent for reclamation facility to be cleaned. It's going to be hard for them to even clean that up a lot of times because it's got all the acids in it and everything that's produced after it started running, and or whatever caused that burnout most of the time too. Okay, here we're talking about the Pearson type access valve, talking about the bullet valves and things like that. Pearson valves should be only be used on copper or aluminum tubing and should be leak tested after installation. If the Pearson valve is installed and the system pressure is found to be 0 pSig, do not begin the recovery process. That's kind of what we was talking about a while ago. I was talking about vacuuming. You put that valve on there, you don't know, these refrigerators, window units, things like that don't come with service valves on. You have to put them on there. All right, you get it on and put that valve on, put your gauges on, you look at it, no pressure. So there's no need to try to recover anything because there's nothing there. And then if you try to pull a vacuum on that, chances are you're going to do more harm than you do good because, you know, a real muggy day, foggy day or something like that, a lot of moisture in there, all you're going to do is pull moisture into it. And just compound your problems, what's going to happen. Pearson type valves tend to leak over time. They're not intended to be a permanent valve. They're put on there to gain access to the system, get that refrigerant out, get it where you can open it then put your valve in there and solder it in, and then you'll be set, as long as you own that. It should be left on, should not be left on appliance as a permanent installation. Once the refrigerant charge is recovered, the pressure valve should be removed, and a permanent service valve, and the way you do that, you know, you solder one in, and just put your hole in and solder it in. Salt, small appliance using, we don't really use it, sulfur dioxide, ammonium hydrogen, or water as refrigerant should not be recovered using current type there. And that was a quick go through on number 1, which, like I say, you know, you're still gonna have 25 questions on there, of course, we didn't cover very much material, but like I say, a lot of it's gonna be on, there's gonna be some safety questions on there, gonna be some core questions gonna bleed over into there, so there, you'll still have your 25.
All right, now let's go ahead and cover some type 1 questions to show you what's going to be on this test. All right, number 26. For the maintenance, service, or repair of small appliances, recovery equipment manufactured after what date?
November 15, 1993.
Number D. Must be certified by an EPA-approved organization. Now, guys, if you remember, you covered the core, and I said this date will be on the test. Now, this is just a practice test, but I promise you, this date will be on the test. So, just like Robert just indicated, you're going to see core questions, you're going to see safety questions on this test, on every part of this test. Number 27. Which best describes the definition of type 1 small appliance as defined by the EPA? Number 8. Systems manufactured, charged, and hermetically sealed with 5 pounds or less of refrigerant. With a package carrier system that held 3.5 pounds of R22 be considered type 1? That's exactly right. That's exactly right. So, see, in your mind, you got to look down there, take a look at it. You might see a package carrier system, a package train system, 4.5 pound refrigerant. It's considered type 1 because it's 5 pound or less. Number 28. For small appliance use, the recovery equipment manufactured after November 15, 1993 must be capable of recovering what?
80%
80% of the refrigerant